Welcome to the PG3 Roadmap. This is Route 2, Controlling Costs, the effective administration of line-by-line budgeting.
Hello, Pleasant Grove. I'm Blaine Thatcher, and today we're going to answer one of the most important questions that every City Council candidate should be asked. Within our existing budget, exactly where can we find more money to repair our roads and infrastructure without raising taxes or cutting existing services?
I'm Matt Godsey. Let's start by taking a look at the city's enterprise funds. The city maintains 4 enterprise funds: water, sewer, storm drain, and sanitation. Each of these services is funded through user fees, and that allows the city to adapt to fluctuations in costs without having to constantly adjust tax rates. Accordingly, enterprise funds cannot be profit centers. So whenever costs go up, you should see an increase in your utility bills, but if costs were ever to go down, you should see a reduction in your utility bills. User fees and expenses cannot be moved out of an enterprise fund. So sanitation expenses can't be paid from money in the storm drain fund, and you can't use money in the water budget to pay for sewer expenses. Enterprise expenses can include administrative costs, but those administrative and overhead expenses can only be used for the actual cost of running the city services. I want to re-emphasize administrative and overhead expenses can only be for the actual cost of running the city services. Otherwise, a city could pad your utility bills by charging inflated administrative fees to raise money that isn't truly related to the enterprise fund, and that would literally be a hidden tax that no one should have to pay.
Knowing what we know about our enterprise funds, there are some expenses that jump off the page when we start looking at the fund budgets. For example, if you take a look at our secondary water budget, you'll see that total employee wages are only about $41,000. But then the administration costs are over $368,000. I think it's safe to say that when your administration costs are 9 times your employee costs, something is out of line and needs to be corrected. Even more puzzling is our sanitation fund. Pleasant Grove hires an outside company to pick up our garbage and recycling items. So we don't own any trucks and we don't have any employees. All we do is write a check and pay the bill. But even though our employee wages are zero, our administrative costs are $235,000. How much could it possibly cost to write a check?
This is Don Paz. Whatever it does cost to write that check, it's unfortunate that taxpayers like you and I are paying for these costs in our utility bills. Pulling out my calculator, I found the following. Last year, the total cost of employee wages from all 4 of our enterprise funds was just under $957,000, while our total administrative costs were basically double that, over $1.8 million. That's a lot of money not being directed to our worsening infrastructure, and far more money than Blaine, Matt, or I believe it could truly cost to administer these enterprise funds. Then I found something even more concerning in the 5-year performance for these funds. According to the budget that the City Council just approved, wages are expected to increase an additional $166,000, while at the same time the city administrators and City Council have budgeted in over $267,000 more in administrative costs. In other words, it appears they are planning for these administrative inefficiencies to get worse, not better. With planned inefficiencies like this in our enterprise funds, you have to assume we're going to find additional inefficiencies in the general fund as well, meaning another $4.8 million we need to look at more closely. Citizens of Pleasant Grove, in this election, unless you elect 3 people who see these problems, understand them, and are committed to addressing them, will never find enough money for the roads and infrastructure.
You know, there's only one way to fix these out-of-line administrative costs, and you'll find our commitment to fixing it on our website and on our flyers. If you elect us, we will analyze city budgets line by line, reprioritize spending, and allocate substantially more funds for roads, water, and sewer infrastructures. We will accomplish these goals without closing down any of our public safety needs or our beloved city amenities, including the library, pool, rec center, senior centers, or youth programs.
Thank you for watching Pleasant Grove. There will be future videos as well, and you can find them on our website, pg3.org. We'll see you there.